You don't need to be ready because ready's a fucking myth. You have to want the result more than the fear that tries to hold you back, more than the identity that tries to hold you back. So I am looking for the woman who is like, I'm fucking ready. I'm not waiting anymore. I've already held myself back. I've already been waiting. I'm so over my bullshit and I'm so ready for my next level. I'm ready to be pushed. I'm ready to lock in. I'm ready to be expanded. I'm ready to grow. That's who I want to work with.
Welcome to the She Who Dares podcast. I'm your host, Crystal Wilson, the founder of She Who Dares. I'm a specialized breakthrough and mindset coach, business mentor, online course creator, and your number one no BS hype woman. I'm here to remind you who the fuck you are and reignite your personal power through powerful and expanding conversations on all things business, mindset, and energetics, to help you break through to your next level of success in all areas of your life, business, and bank account. Each episode is designed to expand your mind, shift your identity, raise your frequency, as well as give you success strategies to help you step into your highest, most powerful, abundant, successful, and magnetic you. So, I dare you to join me each episode, and I double dare you to implement what you learn and go all in on you. All in on your life, your business, your success. Because if you do, like so many of my She Who Dares clients and students, you will become everything that you know deep down you can be. Ready? Let's friggin' do this.
Guys, welcome to the She Who Dares podcast. Buckle in because I'm going to take you on a trip down memory lane. I'm actually going to take you to the year 2018 because the year 2018 was a significant year for me. In the year 2018, I made the decision to walk away from my very successful, very lucrative first business. And I walked away because it didn't feel good. It didn't feel aligned anymore. And I no longer believed in what I was doing. And something about me is I have to believe in what I'm doing wholeheartedly. And I think that comes back to integrity. And so in 2018, I was at a real crossroads in my life. I was kind of breaking up and stepping away from this business that had been such a big part of my identity. And in the process of stepping away from that business, of course, income dropped, which created some financial stress, but also just like I didn't know who I was anymore. I felt really lost because I had made that company, that business, such a big part of my identity. It just felt like, wow, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm going to do next. You know, if you had asked me 18 months earlier in 2016, I was going to build that business the rest of my life. It was who I was. It was what I did. It was what I ate, what I breathed, everything. And so it was a real loss of identity. And it's so interesting when I reflect on my journey because a lot of the work that I do, the core, the crux of the work that I do at She Who Dares is deep identity work. And there have been so many times in my own life where I have shed an identity and rebuilt a new version of myself. And so it's no surprise to me that I'm a living, breathing embodiment of the work that I do. But 2018 was one of those really big identity shifts for me. And when you're going through like about to have a big breakthrough, it usually feels like everything crumbles to the ground. Your identity, what you think, your future, the security, it feels like you kind of lose everything. And then the breakthrough, the thing that's coming, has the space to come through. And that really happened for me in 2018. Now, I had been struggling for about a year before that. Like I didn't just wake up one day and decide that I wasn't going to do my first business anymore. It was a process. It was an unbecoming. And so there was about a year or 18 months before that where there were cracks, and I really battled with that decision and wasn't sure what to do. But it was in 2018 that I finally made a decision. And I suppose my energy in 2017, 2018, before I officially made the decision, was one of I'm stuck, I'm struggling. That was very much my story. I'm stuck, I'm struggling. I had been thriving. I had been at the top of the mountain. I had been having a lot of success, but it was no longer aligned and no longer felt good. And then I was kind of catapulted into this, I'm stuck, I feel stuck. I don't know which move to make. I don't know which way to go. And I probably articulated this narrative that I was stuck and struggling to a lot of people. And I was at a personal development event because I used to be a personal development junkie, and I still am in some way, but I feel like I find it a lot of the work I do now is inward versus searching for it outside of myself, which is why I love the inner work that I do with women, because it's all about personal power. It's all about self-responsibility. It's all about self-leadership. So there was a time when I was a full-blown personal development junkie. I mean, I was constantly at personal development events, retreats, seminars, workshops, you name it. And it was in 2018 when I was chatting to a friend of mine, Adrian, and he said to me, you need a breakthrough. And I remember when those words left his lips and kind of entered my auric field, that every cell in my body said, holy fuck, yes, that's exactly what I need. Now, I had no idea what a breakthrough was. I'd heard that word before, but I didn't know what he was referencing. But it was such a deep, internal, visceral, yes, that's the thing that I need. And he backs that up with a name of a contact person that he knew that did this specific type of work that I should get in contact with. Then eventually I made contact with this lady, and she was a specialized breakthrough coach. Now, this was 2018. Now, even though I had done a lot of personal development and been to a lot of events, a lot of seminars, you name it, I hadn't actually really made any big investments in myself. I had definitely worked with a coach. I started working with my very first coach, Emile, in 2016. But it wasn't like a massive investment. It was just kind of like a monthly session. And I still wasn't ready for it. I was so close. Hey. But it was the beginning of, opening myself up to a new way of being. So I made contact with this breakthrough coach who I was introduced to. And we did a call, and she shared with me the specific type of coaching that she did, which was a process that she took people through, which was called breakthrough. And the more I learned about this breakthrough, I just can't describe it. Like every cell in my body was like, yes. And I feel it was because I was so fucking over myself. I had done so much work, but I was stuck in this loop. I'd make progress and end up back where I was, same feelings, same emotion. I was anxiously attached. I was very insecure, all of the things. And I had so much unprocessed stuff from my childhood, so much unprocessed stuff from breakdowns of relationships and hurts and pains and things that I experienced. I was doing the mindset personal development work, but I actually hadn't really pulled the seat up to the mirror and fully processed like my role in it, my victimhood, the shitty things that had happened to me and all of that. And so the more I learned about breakthrough, I was like, this is a fucking thing I need. And never had I heard of it before. And so I signed up to do a breakthrough. Now, when I signed up to do the breakthrough, it was $5,000 and it was $5,000 cash. Now, I'll be honest with you, as I mentioned before, I never really made any big investments like that in myself. And so that felt like a whoa amount of money. It was almost shocking. I didn't even know that people invested that kind of money in things like this. Like it was so foreign to me at that time. And because I had come out of many, many years of having a lot of success, earning multi-six figures in my first business. However, I had kind of checked out of that business and was in a process of stepping away from that business. My income had dropped quite a lot. And I didn't have any money. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have any surplus of money, which is a whole other story about me and my non-financial literate years as a woman, being a complete mess up with money, which is why I wanted to create the course Heal Your Money, because I love so much about money and healing our relationship with money. That's another podcast episode. And so she said it was $5,000. I almost fell off my chair. I even remember exactly where I was sitting when I had the call with her, and she told me the price. And that was really shocking to me. In absolute transparency, I did not have the money. I was still earning money in my business, but it had dropped significantly. And I did not know how I would get that money. Like, it was just a big amount of money. And so what she said to me, she said, are you willing to figure out how to get the money? Like, how much do you want to do this? And the truth was, I wanted to do it. I was all in. And she didn't offer payment plans. You had to pay in full cash up front before she could get started. And I just said, okay, you know what? I'm going to draw a line in the sand and I'm going to figure this the fuck out. And so she then said to me, how long do you need to figure this out? And I said 90 days. I just picked 90 days. And we picked a date that was 90 days and we were going to have our first session on that day. I think it was like September 2018. And I had 90 days to figure it the fuck out and save, generate, make $5,000 additional money to be able to pay her, because I had to pay her in full by that date and we were locked in, booked in, it was happening. Now, that might sound super aggressive to you guys, but I'll be honest with you, I'm so freaking grateful that she was so hard and down the line like that, because if she had been like, okay, cool, we'll come back and see me, like, yeah, no problems, and been soft in her closing and her way of speaking to me about this opportunity, I wouldn't have got the money. I wouldn't have done it. And it absolutely was a catalyst for changing my life. And so even though it might sound a bit aggressive, like, she's doing me such a fucking service, and she would have been doing me a massive disservice if she had been like, cool, we'll circle back when we're ready. Because she took that hard and fast approach and locked me in, made me pick a date, made me commit to the money when I had no money and had no idea how I was going to pay her. Like, that in itself, that moment in time, that level of conversation, honestly, that was the beginning of my breakthrough, to be honest with you. I hadn't even started the work with her. And that conversation put me back in control, back in the driver's seat of my fucking life, when I was at a time where I felt really out of control. And I decided to find a way out of what felt like no way. And why is this so important? Because obviously I work with women and I have so many conversations with women who want to start, who want to do this work for themselves. And so often this is the block. So often it's like, oh, I can't. No, I can't spend that money. I don't have that money. And I feel like there's just such a powerful lesson in this, because it's okay if you don't have the money, but are you willing to figure it the fuck out? Because I know for me, I did not have the money. I couldn't even fathom that amount of money. I don't even think I'd ever saved for anything for that amount of money before at that point. But when she kind of put those structures and standards in place, I had to rise to those standards if I wanted to work with her, if I wanted to do that work. And honestly, that alone, that conversation, I drew a line in the sand. I decided to figure it the fuck out, to find a way out of no way. And that in itself broke me through my broke ass mindset. Like, up until that moment, every decision was about, can I afford it? Can't I afford it? Feeling constricted by money. But that conversation, when she presented me with a whole nother way of being, I was like, all right, I'm in. Yeah. And when I lock in, I lock in. And so do you think it took me till September? It did not. I think I came back to her within 30 days with the $5,000 cash. And I paid her and we started early. And that, for me, was such a big part of the work before I even had a session with her. And I'm just so grateful. And then we did the breakthrough. And the breakthrough work, as I was doing it, I had no idea the impact that it was having on me. It felt hard. I felt all of my stuff come up. I felt all of my resistance come up. I wanted to run. I wanted to hide. I didn't want to change. Like, I just felt like breakthrough was so fucking deep and so transformative at a root cause level, at an identity level, that I literally felt my old identity fight harder than she has ever fought when I was doing breakthrough to keep me right where I was. But I just kept showing up for the sessions, and I was not a great client in the sense that, and I actually attract a lot of women like this, and I love working with women like this. Like, I was pretty committed to not changing. Not at a conscious level, at an unconscious level. I was defiant. I was like showing up, but I didn't really want to be there. Like, every session felt hard. Like, every session that I showed up to felt like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this work. This feels hard. That's what I was fighting against. But I showed up. I showed up to every session and I did the fucking work. Even though it was some of the hardest work, not because the work itself is hard, because it's so deep and so transformative, there's nowhere to fucking hide. And my old identity fought the hardest she has ever fought, because she knew this was going to change me. She knew this was going to catapult me and expand me. And she fought really hard to keep me right in my comfort zone, to try and fuck up my breakthrough. And she did not succeed, obviously. And one of the biggest things initially that I got out of my breakthrough was I walked out of there, like, just couldn't even comprehend what had happened. And the one thing that I had the most deepest clarity on was, oh, this is the work I'm meant to do. You know, I was in the process of leaving my successful business, walking away, which didn't make sense. I made lots of money. I could still make lots of money. It was a big part of my identity, but it didn't feel right. And I was in the process of kind of walking away from that business, untangling myself from that business with a lot of judgment from myself and others in doing so. And I didn't know what my next step was. I didn't know what the next thing was for me. And I just followed that breadcrumb. When someone said to me, you need to do a breakthrough, I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but that sounds exactly what I need. And I couldn't afford it, but I figured it the fuck out and I showed up and I did the work. And when I finished my breakthrough, the one thing that was so clear was my next step. My breakthrough gave me so much. I'm still reaping the rewards from my breakthrough. But the initial first thing it gave me was my next step, my next breadcrumb, which was, this is the work that I'm meant to do with women. That was so clear to me. And I walked out of breakthrough having just invested $5,000, and I signed up to do my practitioner level training to learn how to do that work with women. And I never felt so much clarity on, this is the work that I'm meant to do with women, because of the profound impact that it had on me, my relationship with myself, my identity, and my internal world. And because I had such a profound internal shift at a deep root cause cellular identity level, my external world started to shift and change really quickly. And it was just so powerful. So I think I finished my breakthrough in like September that year, 2018. And then it was like October, I was flying to Sydney to actually learn the practitioner level, which is level 1 of this work in doing breakthroughs with women. I did that. That was like a 5 or 7 day intensive. And I was certified as a practitioner of NLP, timeline therapy, which is the different modalities that we use in breakthrough. Loved it. And when I was at my prep, I was ready for the next step. And then I signed up to do my master level, which is the higher level of this training that I do. And so between September 2018, I did a breakthrough as a client. I had signed up for practitioner level to learn level 1 of breakthrough. And by November, I was sitting the master's training. So between September, October, November, I had completed a breakthrough, prac level, and master level training. And then once I did that, I got up there and I launched my business in it the most fearless. Oh my God, I was so fearless. I was so confident. There was not a shred of doubt. And I believe that's because I didn't just do this because I was like, that looks like a fun business. It was so heart-led. It was so purpose-driven. I was doing the thing that had transformed me. Like years of pain and hurt and victimhood and suffering and being stuck in my own fucking shit constantly, I broke through that, through the work. And I just knew that this is the work I wanted to do with it. And so from about December 2018 until now, breakthrough, which so many of you have done it with me, I've worked with hundreds of women and taken them through breakthroughs now. It's been such a big part of my work at She Who Dares, work that I value deeply, not only because of the impact that it's had on others, but because of the profound impact it had on me first. It's just something I really believe in, and I'm the living proof of the work, that it works, that this work fucking works. And it's still working. I'm still reaping the benefits of the breakthrough work that I did in 2018. And just like my clients, the ones who did breakthrough with me all over the last, 6-7 years are out there still reaping the benefits of that work. Some are circling back because they're ready for their next level, and we're going deeper and expanding further. It's incredibly powerful work. It's not always work that's like fun and fluffy, That's really important. I think that when you're going to do work that's really going to fucking change you, prepare for it to be uncomfortable. Prepare for there to be some resistance. But I think that if you're working with someone that all feels good and fluffy and comfortable, then it's not actually deep work. You know what I mean? You're at a surface level where you feel comfortable. And if you really want change, and I'm all about change, like I don't work with women to just make them feel good. I work with women and do this work because I am committed to what you told me you want. And together we're going to do the work that works to get that result. And that work is deep, transformative, identity level, subconscious work, which is the breakthrough work that I do. And since 2018, I've worked with hundreds of women doing a lot of breakthroughs. I mean, hundreds. And it's been such a big part of the She Who Dares ethos. And it always will be. But as I'm coming up, I'm about 4.5, 5 months out from giving birth. One thing that I know is really true for me is that breakthrough work, and my private clients who have done breakthrough with me have been like my children. It's been the thing that I've invested all of my time, energy, heart. My breakthrough clients have received all of me, and I've loved it. It's been so rewarding, and I'm so grateful for those years, being able to dedicate so much of myself and my work and the She Who Dares community to breakthrough work. However, as I'm coming up to becoming a mum, and I have to admit that in itself is so crazy. Like I'm 42 like in a week and a half. I'll be 42 when I'm giving birth. And I have no idea what life looks like. Like I've lived 42 years of my life doing what I want, when I want, with really no consideration or needing to consider others. Like I've been able to live a pretty selfish life. I'm a 42-year-old woman with no kids. I've invested all of my time, all of my energy, all of my love into my businesses over a decade in the online space, building businesses. And so I don't know what life is going to look like when I give birth, but one thing I'm certain of, it's definitely going to change. I am going to change. My capacity is going to change. Where I'm going to invest my time is going to change. And just something that intuitively has dropped into me in the last few months, obviously being pregnant, is that I'm not going to be able to do the level of one-on-one work that I have been doing, even though I love it. I would say at the moment, since 2018, one-to-one breakthrough work has made up about 80% of the work that I do in She Who Dares. The other 20% is like business mentor clients, like masterminds, group programs, masterclasses, challenges, and kind of all the other little things that I've done over the years. But the main core part of my business has been breakthrough. And intuitively, the thing that I know is that needs to change. Like I can't give 80% to one-on-one clients of my work. It has to flip. And so there's lots of things that are changing in the business over the next 4.5 months, which I could do a whole podcast episode. Like this whole week's been really interesting. I've almost felt like a little bit paralyzed because there's so much I want to do. There's so much I need to do. and it just feels like time is ticking really fast. I am literally like, I feel like, like when we know like Armageddon's coming, and it's not Armageddon, it's going to be this beautiful, expansive time of my life. But I feel like the 14th of June is my due date, and I have that date, and it's 4.5 months away. And because I spent the first half of my pregnancy bedbound, like I feel like I have only just found out I'm pregnant. And now it's like, shit, I have a lot to do, and I've got 4.5 months to do it. And so this week was really interesting. I just noticed a little bit of like paralysis analysis of, whoa, there's so much I need to do. What order do I do it in? Like, how do I do it? And something that I always say and teach and usually embody is that when you focus on the how you're going to do something, the how will fuck you every time. It's not our job to focus on the how, it's our job to take the next step. And so that's been really interesting this week, just noticing how I am in a little bit of a freeze state because there's so much to do. And I'm like, what exactly is the pathway to do these things? And because I don't have that clarity that I normally have, I'm a little bit like, oh, don't do anything right now, which feels really abnormal for me because I'm somebody who leads himself, who takes action, who doesn't focus on the how. And I am doing the opposite of all of the things that I would normally do just in this last week, which has been interesting. So there was a lot changing. And also, maybe I'm just putting way too much fucking pressure on myself. But I do know life's going to change. You know what I mean? My business is going to change. My capacity is going to change. The way in which I operate the business will change. And all of the changes are so positive. I'm not looking at it as a lack thing. I'm so excited about the changes that I want to make. I'm so excited about the ideas I have and the things I want to implement. I'm excited about, being more selective with who I work with one-on-one and focusing more on working with groups of women and building community. Because even though I love the one-on-one stuff and it's so powerful, like I can have a much bigger, profound impact working with 20 women in a room than one in a room. So things are changing. And with that, I am doing my last intake for breakthrough work. And it's not saying that I'm never going to do breakthrough work again. I have clients that I work with long time doing breakthrough work. Once you're a one-on-one client with me, you are always a one-on-one client. I mean, just in the last week, I've had 2 previous breakthrough clients circle back and re-sign up to do some more expansive breakthrough work with me before I officially close my books. And I've had a new client come in as well. So I'm doing my last intake for breakthrough work. And I just feel that there are so many women that I've spoken to that have wanted to do this work. And for whatever reason, it wasn't the right time. You had a money block. You were fearful. Your old identity fought really hard and kept you right where you were. And maybe now this is something for you to actually really look at, because breakthrough work isn't mindset work, okay? It's the deepest level identity transformation work. And we use your subconscious mind to shift everything at a root cause level. So this is where you don't just change what you're doing, which is powerful, but it's way more powerful than that. We change who you are being so that your external world matches your internal world. So for those of you who don't know, breakthrough coaching is my high-level one-to-one coaching journey, which is usually around 12 sessions that would go through your entire breakthrough. What I'm doing though, between now and when I finish up my breakthrough work for the foreseeable future before I give birth, I've actually created this 6-session kind of intensive option for you guys that I can really take you through the breakthrough work in this beautiful, intensive way, which is actually how I did it when I did it in 2018. So I'm really excited for that, which means that I'm opening up spots, and I'm also offering a beautiful one-time incentive for those of you who jump in and want to learn about, let's explore what your 6-session intensive looks like. And I'm going to reward the guys who are ready to jump in, okay, and do this work with me before I close out my books. So who is breakthrough for? It's for the woman who feels like there's a fucking invincible ceiling that you keep hitting up against. Like you keep doing the work, like you're capable, you're proactive, you're motivated, you're locked in, and you're doing everything. And it's like you get so far, you make progress, and then you keep hitting that same invincible ceiling. which is your old identity. And breakthrough is going to give you the tools and steps to treat the root cause problems as to why you keep hitting that ceiling in all areas of your life. Some people do breakthroughs because they want to have a personal inner breakthrough in their relationship with themselves, their own mindset, their own identity. Some women do breakthrough with me because that invisible ceiling that they keep hitting is their income in their business, or is the level of success they're having in their career. So breakthrough is personalized to you based on what your personal goals are. What is your ceiling? What are your blocks? What are your patterns? What loop are you stuck in? And this is why I like to connect with you guys first, so I can ask the questions to find out what loop you're stuck in, right? What's the root cause problem? What are the belief systems that you hold about yourself that are part of your old identity that we need to break through so that you can actually break through that ceiling and actually be who you were meant to be, do what you want to do and create what you want to create. So in breakthrough, we're going to release the subconscious systems and beliefs that are holding you hostage to an old way of being. We release the emotional residual from past events. Like when I did my breakthrough, I didn't even really know the reason. I was just so fucking over myself. That's where I was at. But when I got into the work, it gave me so many of the missing puzzle pieces as to why I was so over myself. And a lot of that was unprocessed emotions. Like I had, young parents who had their own struggles. I was the eldest daughter who had so much fucking responsibility. There were many times in my childhood that felt like I was raising my parents and not my parents raising me. There was just all of this stuff that I hadn't actually faced. I was fucking angry and I was stuck in a loop, but I didn't really yet understand why. And breakthrough helped me see so clearly why I was the way I was, why I felt the way I was, why I was stuck, why I was struggling. And so then we did the work to release those emotions. And so when we do breakthrough work together, I focus on 6 emotions: the sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, and shame. And I'll be honest with you, just releasing those emotions from past events that have impacted you, whether you're consciously aware of them or not, is fucking life-changing. Because think of all of those emotions as like a big sack of shit that is heavy. And every year that you carry it, it gets heavier and heavier. And you're just carrying it around. Now, you're like me, you have a lot of neck and shoulder pain that energetically you're carrying a lot of shit around. And in breakthrough, we release that, we unpack that bag, we change the way you look at things. And when you change the way you look at things internally, the things we see change. And that in itself is so fucking free and so powerful. Any inherited belief systems or patterns or conditionings that you hold, these are the ceilings that you keep looping in, the block that you keep hitting, you release that. And what that does is it means that you get to decide who the fuck you are instead of letting your mum, your dad, your past, your trauma, all the stuff with friends, and all the stuff you've experienced that you dismiss as oh yeah, whatever. That has shaped you. That has made you believe that you are this version of yourself. And it shows up in your overthinking, your stress and worry, your inability to stand up for yourself, your people pleasing. The shit that you're carrying isn't showing up when you're sitting there crying in the closet about that thing mum said to you one time, or how your father could never meet his expectations. You're not really thinking about that. It's at a conscious level, you're a people pleaser. You don't stand up for yourself. You can't ask for what you want. You settle for less. You don't follow your dreams. You start things you don't finish. It's like the patterns and behaviors that you are seeing play out. That's the problem. But the root cause as to why you have that problem is in your subconscious, and it's deeper. And so when you kind of do this kind of surface level work and you think you're good, you're not good, you're in a loop, you're going to loop again, you need to go deeper. The problem is you're not going deep enough, and breakthrough is the deepest of work. And this is why, if you follow, you've seen the testimonials, the transformations that women have. It's pretty incredible. And so this means we get to change how your nervous system responds so that you feel safe to expand. You feel safe to speak up. You feel safe to be you, the truest, most authentic version of yourself, not the version of you who's still carrying all that shit on her back. That's not your most authentic self. That's the wounded version of you who's being small, who's not her most truest self. So this is the work. I mean, I could just keep going. Honestly, I could go for another hour and talk about what we do in Breakthrough, how we do it, the transformations that I've seen, what it would give to your life. But I think you guys get the gist. So even though it's like this beautiful transition that's happening in She Who Dares, there is this opportunity, there's this window of opportunity for those of you who are like me, like when my friend Adrian at that personal development event in 2018 said, you need a breakthrough, I felt it. I didn't need information. I felt it. I knew it in every cell of my body. That's exactly the thing that I need. I didn't know what it was, what it cost, what it looked like, what we would do. I felt it. And so I suppose I'm talking right now to those of you who feel that intuitive feeling that this is the thing you need. There is this beautiful window of opportunity that is open right now that I would love to invite you to walk through, and it's closing. It's been open since 2018. Some of you have done calls with me. Some of you have done Breakthrough. Some of you are ready for your next level of Breakthrough. Some of you have been thinking about doing Breakthrough. Some of you are hearing about this for the first time today and you just fucking know, like I did in 2018. There's this beautiful opportunity that I'd love to invite you to explore this with me, because I have now about 7 spots. I had 10 spots 2 weeks ago. Now there are 7 spots left, which should take me to my capacity up until I give birth, to work with the woman who's like, I need that. That's what I need. I'm fucking ready. I'm ready to figure it out. Let's go. If that's you, email me, DM me. Everything will be in the show notes. Be willing to at least explore the opportunity. If it's for you, you'll know when we connect and we have a chat. And if it's not for you, that's okay. That's okay. Breakthrough is definitely not something that you could be pushed into. You don't need to be ready, because ready is a fucking myth. You have to want the result more than the fear that tries to hold you back, more than the identity that tries to hold you back. So I am looking for the woman who is like, I'm fucking ready. I'm not waiting anymore. I've already held myself back. I've already been waiting. I'm so over my bullshit and I'm so ready for my next level. I'm ready to push. I'm ready to lock in. I'm ready to be expanded. I'm ready to grow. That's who I want to work with. And if that's you, go to the show notes. There'll be my email, a link to DM me on Instagram. You can just write the word breakthrough and I will know that you have listened to this episode and you are ready to get the fuck out of your own way and lock in with me before I close my books and give birth. And I'll be honest with you, like there's something about this energy that I'm in right now. I'm in a really powerful place and it's only going to get more powerful as I get closer to giving birth. And I just feel like it's a really exciting time for us to work together because I'm locked in. The things that I'm going to do in the next 4.5 months will blow you away. I'm going to do years worth of building in my business in 4.5 months. So it's an incredible time to lock in with me and go on this beautiful, expansive journey together. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'll see you for the next week's episode.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. If you loved this episode, be sure to share that with me by leaving me a review and head over to the She Who Dares official Instagram account at She Who Dares Official, hit follow, slide into my DMs and share with me the impact this episode has had on you. And before you go, I'm going to leave you with this. The universe is responding to you. It is following your lead. You are the one who has to move first. And when you do, the whole universe will move with you because it's I lead, the universe follows. When I move, the universe moves with me. That is our official She Who Dares mantra. I want you to write it down, put it on a mirror, and I want you to remind yourself of it every day. When I lead, the universe follows. When I move, the universe moves with me. When you follow this She Who Dares mantra, you are going to unlock the magic of the universe and you are stepping into your most powerful self. I can't wait to see you for the next episode. Thanks for being here.